Thanks to World Anvil for sponsoring this video. Welcome to the Koffeine Cafe, where we don't serve coffee, we serve childhood trauma. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Z.
And this is School Mysteries, a series where we look at 7 urban mysteries straight from your own classroom.
Have you guys heard of the term 7 school mysteries? If so, you've probably heard it from some sort of anime, especially the Toilet-Bound kind. But the idea of the 7 school mysteries, or in Japanese, it's called the Gakkou-no-Nanafushigi, comes from a set of stories that can be found all over Japan. Each school has their own kind of set of 7 school mysteries, all revolving around urban legends that have been passed down from generation to generation.
This may have been an offshoot, actually, of the 7 Mysteries of Echigo, which compiles 7 strange events passed down to the Niigata prefecture in the Chuba region of Japan.
And speaking of 7, here is the first one, Hanako-san.
Don't go knocking at the toilet stalls in school. They say that the 3rd stall of the 3rd floor bathroom hides the ghost of a little girl named Hanako. It's a mystery as to how she passed, as some say she was a victim of bullying and others say she was a victim of war. If you decide to check and ask her if she's there, hope she doesn't answer, as the best case scenario you encounter is a creepy apparition, but there is a chance Hanako-san might personally drag you into hell through what's apparently a convenient entrance, the toilet. So unless you really gotta go, then don't go knocking at the toilet stalls in school. So, Hanako-san, someone we've encountered before.
Yeah, we did a video about this a couple years ago, actually.
It was around the time we watched the anime that inspired not only that video, but also this series.
The idea of Hanako-san is interesting because it's one of the most popular 7 school mysteries and can be seen in almost every school in Japan.
It's unsure how Hanako appears to be in every single toilet in every school in Japan.
Yeah, but then again, the idea of like a ghost, specifically a ghost girl in the toilet, isn't really unique to Japan either. Its popularity has kind of spread all over the world.
Yeah, every school story you hear involves a girl's toilet. But did you know that there's one in the guy's toilet too?
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Not much story about him.
Was it Hanako-kun?
No, his name's apparently Taro-san.
Taro-san, really?
Yeah, and there's not much details on whether he also grants you wishes, but he was sort of made as a counterpart. You know, the story of Hanako is always being traded around by kids, and a lot of older kids who are just like, nah, that's kind of cheesy. Why don't we make our own? And so Taro-san was placed in the guy's bathroom to haunt alongside Hanako.
There is a lot of different variations to Hanako's origins. Maybe one of them was Taro-kun.
Yeah.
Like I know there was one where Hanako-san died due to World War II bombings.
Yes.
While another was the stereotypical girl either gets murdered or takes her own life in the toilet.
Yeah.
It could be that one of those actually was Taro-kun.
Yeah.
Be interesting to explore this if we find any more information about it later on.
We'll keep digging.
The school mirrors. You should probably avoid the school mirrors. If you go up to any mirrors on campus, you'd see nothing but your own reflection most of the time. However, some say that if you happen to glance at one at exactly 4:44 in the afternoon, you might just get a glimpse of the future, specifically, of course, of the moment you're about to pass. No specific dates or locations are said to be given, literally just the incident itself. But they say, if nothing out of the ordinary shows up, you should be concerned. If all you see is yourself looking back at you, just like a normal reflection, you may just get spirited away at that instant, fulfilling the prophecy then and there. So unless you want to see it for yourself, you should probably avoid the school mirrors.
Good old mirror story.
I gotta say, I hate mirrors. They scare me. They genuinely scare me because you don't really know what's going on behind it. Of course, scientifically speaking, it's just refraction or reflection of light that bounces off the surface of the actual mirror. And you know, it's all science and stuff. But a lot of myth and folklore kind of put mirrors at a very high pedestal. Like
They do.
They kind of explain it in such a way that it's a portal to another dimension.
A lot of the time, mirrors are also used for rituals. Like the story of you standing in front of a mirror to ask for your fortune, who your future husband may be.
There's also Bloody Mary.
Mirrors are always important to the supernatural.
The thing is that actually makes me curious is why 444? I get it. The number 4 is like a big no-no number in a lot of Asian countries, but it's very specific. Like doing a lot of research for Seven School Mysteries, we've personally encountered multiple 4-related mysteries.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there's more significance outside of that 4 bad.
Yeah, outside of the specific idea that the number in text is a homonym to death itself, like she, you have to wonder how that came about in the first place. Like, why would they sound the same? Why would they make it the same?
Actually, that's a good point. That is a very good point.
Yeah, is it coincidence?
Was it coincidence? Or it's kind of like that which came first, the color or the fruit?
Yeah, that sort of scenario.
Yeah, like with the number 4, specifically with the Japanese and its
and East Asian general
East Asian
beliefs.
origins. I actually wonder which came first.
Number or death.
Dream School. You'd probably want to forget this. Have you ever dreamt of being in a strange school? Well, a boy named K did, finding himself wandering an empty, endless hallway. As he searched for an exit, the school bell rang, and the sound of loud stomping started to race towards him. He hid in room 108, searching for a way out. He found a key to a possible exit and waited till things fell silent outside. He carefully stepped out of the room to find the exit, but as he ran towards it, he heard something. Behind him was a ball of limbs, heads, and torsos from what looked like students dancing towards him. In shock, he tripped, never making it to the exit. They say he's still in a coma, forever trapped in an endless dream within that school. So unless you want to end up like Kay, you'd probably want to forget this. This one's actually interesting because much like a lot of these school mysteries from Japan, there's different versions of it depending on the actual school. But as far as I know, this is one of the first ones we found.
Yeah, it also appears to be the most common one, always involving a long hallway, always involve being chased.
Yeah. The interesting thing is, there's other versions to the story that kind of deviates from the one that we told. Like, one where instead of a ball of limbs, it was just disembodied limbs and heads and torsos just chasing after you.
Yeah.
That one's freaky. But the reason why we didn't add it to this list was because they were kind of described as like dancing.
Yeah, I like the dancing one. Personally, I think it'd be horrifying to see them do the thriller as they come at you in the hallway.
Plus, at the same time, there is also that element of room 108.
Yes.
Where, as far as I know, the number 108 is very important in Shinto and Buddhists, I think.
Yes.
We had to cut down a lot of the story.
Yeah.
But some renditions have it that there are 108 rooms, that only one of them leads to the exit.
Another thing that we couldn't fit in was, at least my favorite aspect, was the chain mail, because of the way it's presented that you have to pass this along or else you will suffer this fate as well. It really does show how these types of stories can go into different schools, because like you have to pass it along.
Anatomic model.
You probably shouldn't go to school at night. You know that anatomy model in the science room? Or even the complete skeleton replica that's there as well? You know, they say that some of these laying around schools in Japan are over 100 years old. Problem is that back in the early 1900s, well-made replicas weren't cheap, but the government made it so that every school needed it. Known as Jintai Mokkei and Kokaku Mokkei, respectively, some schools took it upon themselves to deal with shadier merchants who may or may not have sold, let's just say, more organically sourced products. This is why they say if you find yourself in a school late at night, you may catch a glimpse of these more authentic figures roaming around the halls at night, looking for their replacements. Either way, you probably shouldn't go to school at night. This one's really cool.
This one is really cool.
This really feeds on the usual horrors of seeing an anatomical figure in any school. There was this one anime, Yamato no Deshiko Shichihenge, that had the main girl be friends with these guys. There were, I think, 2 or 3 of them. An anatomical model, a skeletal model she named Josephine. They were married, by the way. There was a third one, a skull, I think. It really does show that there is a horror attached to these guys in such a way that they are alive.
Not just that, it also kind of shows how ingrained it is here in Japan. For example, did you guys know that Monokuma from Danganronpa was originally designed to be an anatomical model of a person?
Whoa.
That's why Monokuma's design is half white, half black. It's supposed to be one side is like an open anatomical model while the other side is like human.
Oh, the skin, quote unquote.
This isn't really far from truth. There has been instances where people have found actual human remains being posed as educational material.
Yeah, aside from standard medical school thing, these models were obtained sometime around 1926 to 1989. And apparently, as recently as 2016, the human skull that was found was actually a human skull. The skull was found in the Kagoshima prefecture. Apparently 3 more were found
Later on, after the news broke out,
Yeah, I mean, I would get why that would cause such a ruckus.
Yeah, I'm actually wondering, is this just isolated in Japan? Because that was also a problem in Europe with grave robbing.
Yes.
The whole premise of Frankenstein was all about
Grave robbing.
Exactly.
You guys might want to check in your science rooms.
And speaking of checking into your science rooms, you guys should check out your own science room for that like button.
Comment below your own school mystery.
We may even read it out in the future. But before we continue on,
Have you heard of this one? Rumor has it there's a website that can help all sorts of creatives in writing, organizing, and publishing rich settings with complex characters. Write, world build, and manage your stories all in one platform. They call it World Anvil, and they say that if you visit their website, worldanvil.com, and use our code CoffeineYT, you can enjoy 40% off your first year. With templates, interactive maps, and even timelines, manage everything you need for the world you built all in one site. So go to worldanvil.com now and use our code CoffeineYT on your next checkout to get 40% off your first year, or else be doomed not to get this amazing opportunity again. And we're back.
we are back with the Computer Room Ghost. Computer viruses aren't the only thing you should be worried about in school. Rumor has it that whenever you pass by the computer room lab in the hallway and there's no one around, you may get a glimpse of a young boy illuminated by a screen within the darkness of the room. They say that a child once hid inside, only for the room to be locked up for the summer. With no one to let him out, he unfortunately gave in to dehydration, only to be found during the next semester. Now, if you decide to go into the room to check in on this boy, he may just lock you in to join him for the rest of eternity. This is why computer viruses aren't the only thing you should be worried about in school. This one is actually very interesting because I was surprised to find it as a 7 school mystery.
Oh? How so?
Because it was a school mystery in one of the schools I went to.
Really?
Yep. So and so that I actually may have seen this. Like this specific ghost.
Huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a story like this isn't specific to Japan as well.
Ever since the dawn of computers, apparently this type of story has been popping up all over the world.
Yeah, you'd have to think about how interesting it is that these are recent ghosts. You usually think of ghosts as like, oh, the old Victorian age, or oh, they've been around for centuries and they're just going about their old routine.
Yeah.
But now that there's technology to tether them here, they're doing these types of activities
With more modern things.
Yeah, and it feels a little scarier because it feels closer to us.
It feels a little scarier because, like, it did happen and, like, you know, to me.
Well, yes, but luckily I simply do not see. I do not witness, I do not perceive. That's my rule.
Have you guys heard of this story? Because I'm genuinely curious. Let me know in the comments below. The Phantom Pianist.
This is why you should never forget your headphones when you go to school. They say that at night, when the school halls are empty and the classrooms are vacant, you might hear a faint tune echoing through the building. If you follow it, the melody becomes clearer. Likewise, it becomes sadder. When you find the source of the sound, you'll find yourself in the music room. If you peer through the small crack of the door, you may find a young lady, melancholically playing the notes as she stares back at you before fading away. If you ever meet this phantom pianist, expect a tragedy to befall upon you soon. This is why you should never forget your headphones when you go to school. This one's interesting to me because of the many versions of the story, wherein the one where blood hits the keys and it starts to play music.
That one's my favorite, actually.
How is it playing? How heavy is a single drop that it makes a little ting noise?
I never thought of that. That's actually a good point. I was just gonna say, like, you know, it's kind of like it's reminiscent of that one urban legend from the West where the boyfriend leaves because their car breaks down and the girlfriend waits in the car all night hearing like a tick 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 sound all night. Yeah. Turns out that the noise is actually the blood of the boyfriend dripping down the...
Yeah.
I liked it because it's reminiscent of that, but that's a good point. How heavy is the flow of the blood?
Because you could hear the little tip, tip, tip noise, but you can't hear a whole...
Yeah. Actually, thinking about it, when you tap on piano key, it's not that easy to make a noise.
Yeah.
Lightly tap it as if you're water droplet. It won't make a noise.
Yeah, not to mention play Fur-Elise. Did you know that the most common song that is played in this particular urban legend is Fur-Elise?
Really? That's interesting, because I remember that from another anime. It freaked me out and traumatized me as a kid. In that specific rendition, when you hear Fur-Elise,
yeah.
At exactly 6 p.m.
Not
if
4.
I can recall. Not 4. It means someone got murdered somewhere in the school.
I don't know what it is about Fur-Elise that is scaring children in Japan, but I understand. Darn, it must be world-renowned 18th century pianist and composer Ludwig van Beethoven.
Spoilers. Anyways, on to our last and the final 7 school mystery that is said to cause unbelievable horrors. This is the 7th mystery. There are only 6 school mysteries. Where did you hear about the school's haunted tales? Who told you there were 7? Keep quiet. There are only 6. Only 6 mysteries. At least 6 confirmed ones. I guess it's alright to tell you now. I mean, you're not in school, are you? Well, there are 7 school mysteries. The 7th being itself. What do you mean you don't follow? The 7th mystery is the 7th mystery itself. No one really knows what it is. Not even the principal herself. And they say that if you do find out, tragedy will befall upon the school. So don't go snooping around for it, okay? And if anyone asks, there are only 6 school mysteries. This is a fun one. This is a very loaded one as well. Yeah. All over Japan, there are variations to the Gakkou-no-Nanafushigi, and even the name itself changes because Nana in Japanese is 7. So the idea of 7 school mysteries is very ingrained in this idea, but some schools have 6, others have 5. Yes. Some have 10, 13 even. The thing is, there's no actual limit to these mysteries. The most common one, if you're in a school with just 6 mysteries, would be that there is no 7. Another version of this is that if you find the 7th one, rather than a tragedy befalling the school, like you are the only one that's doomed, and you carry that last one to your grave. There is also a version where you make a wish. Like, yeah, you're given a wish after finding out the 7th one. But I guess either doom befalling the school or doom befalling yourself catches on more. But at the same time, because it's more, I guess the stakes are higher, it kind of made the entire idea pointless. Yeah, why would you want to look for the last one if you know that something bad will happen? Yeah, like I remember you mentioned that you were in a lot of Japanese forums talking about this specific topic, and a lot of people did mention that they kind of gave up on it, or they weren't interested because they didn't want to die. Yeah, the popularity of 7 School Mysteries died down for a time because everyone just thought, why would I want to put myself on the line for this spooky little mystery, you know? And of course it's come up in popularity again because of Toilet-Bound Hanako-kun. It's that kind of thing. Yeah. Would you really want your, I guess, prize for knowing all
Yeah.
7 to be death? Or would you rather have a wish?
Quote-unquote prize. Although it is funny, during our research, I went into a lot of these forums and a lot of them were like, well, I've gone past 7. And there's like, oh, I found all 14. I found all 25. I found 40 of them. And you have to ask like, so are we good? Are we doomed? Are we doomed even further, or does it cancel out like math?
In fact, we're actually recording this 4 sessions in, and we found roughly 100
Yeah.
of them. So we're gonna do the series for quite a while. We're just doing a lot of research because a lot of them are kind of broken. A lot of them are kind of like missing some stuff, missing context, or like just kind of, yeah, this happened, or yeah, that happened, that kind of thing.
They're brushed aside, or they are one-sentence horrors. Some of them are even variations of stories that you may have already heard.
Like Taro-kun.
Taro-kun is definitely one of them.
And this series will keep going on until schools run out of mysteries.
And until we find the fabled 7th.
Yeah. Anyways, let us know what you think.
And if you want your own school mysteries dissected, then comment below. Thanks to Butter, Nick, and Shifter for supporting the channel by being members. And if you too want to keep the cafe afloat with perks, consider joining as well.
And if you want more 7 School Mysteries, check out this playlist right here.
Bye!